Good morning, everyone, and happy Saturday. My name is Callie, and this is another weekend of Clarinets, Cats, and Coffee. In today's video, I am going to talk about the 5 main reasons why you're still struggling to go over the break when you play clarinet. First of all, I want to give a shout out to all of my patrons and channel members and everybody who is supporting my channel. Thank you all so much. If you're interested in supporting this channel, I have a link below for Patreon, and of course you can join right here on YouTube as well to support. Thank you, it means so much. In addition, I'm going to also be launching my first online course this fall, so if you are interested in checking that out, you can join my email list. If you're already on Patreon or here on channel memberships, I will be notifying you that way as well. So be sure to sign up for my email list if that is something you are interested in. Okay, so the reason that we're all here today is to learn about why it's still so hard to go over the break on clarinet. First thing, your low range is weak, it's unsupported, it's tense, it's tight. You might be surprised to learn that sounding good going over the break, sounding good in your high range, starts with being really good at your low range. So to improve your low range, the first thing I want you to think about is how you're breathing. Take a really big, deep belly breath. I like to think of the word home when I breathe in, as it helps me relax, open up, and fill my lungs all the way down to the belly. And when you exhale with a lot of volume. You want your sound to travel and your air to travel the entire length of the clarinet. When we first start playing with really full air supports, it can make a huge difference. So the thing to listen for in your low range is a big, full, rich sound. You may even hear wind rushing past your tone holes and your pads. And most of all, you're going to feel like your sound is really projecting. So if you're doing all of that, you're well on your way to sounding good going over the break. So if your low range sounds good and you're still struggling to go over the break, it could be because your hand position is bad. So some common mistakes with hand position involves lifting the fingers too high off of the clarinet. Another issue is that our fingers are not pressing down at the same time of all of these keys. Another issue could be our fingers are accidentally hitting these side keys here. You'd be surprised how many people accidentally hit this and this G sharp or this E flat when they don't mean to, going over the break. And the most sneaky problem of all, okay, hold on, we're gonna wait for that siren to go. And the most sneaky problem of all is the back thumb key. In our effort to press this register key as we go over the break, we get a little too excited and we go a little too far. If your thumb is not completely covering this hole, if it's even leaking a tiny, minuscule amount of air, you will squeak. The note will be impossible to get out. So the trick is, all you have to do is tap the register key. This key does not need to be completely wide open when you play over the break. It just has to be open a tiny bit. That's all. So just imagine just the fat part of your thumb right at the top, just barely hitting that key right there, and you'll be good to go. Now, let's say your low range is good, your hand position is pretty good, still having problems. You may be closing off your throat. So if you take a nice deep breath in and out, you're more likely to have a more relaxed throat. Next week, I'm going to cover throat tension in a little bit more detail, but I'm going to let you guys mull this concept over of playing with a relaxed open throat without diving into too much detail today. The next one is a little bit psychological, and I see this a lot in younger players, and that is there's this fear of going over the break because it's hard and you need so much air, and so you pause between, let's say, A and B, and you stop and you take a breath, and then you go. Well, stopping to completely reset your embouchure when you're trying to create a smooth transition isn't really going to help you out that much in creating a smooth transition, because you're interrupting the airflow and you're completely resetting your embouchure. So try practicing getting used to going between A and B, G and B, G and C, so you can eliminate that fear of the transition going over the break. Lastly, you might be running into the issue of air support, which involves blowing a consistent column of air. So I want everybody to think about air support as a constant flow of air, never slowing down, never stopping. Once you start blowing, you keep going. So that's going to enable you to get a very smooth transition with your air between the notes below the break and the notes above. So I've got a couple of exercises for you to practice while you are refining your sound going over the break. So the first one involves low register. And it's really just a simple finger exercise, simple pinky exercise to get you used to blowing consistent air between notes in the low range. It goes something like this. All right, so once you're getting a nice consistent sound between all of the notes of the low register, you're breathing big, all of the wonderful fundamentals that make you sound good, the next one you can do is actually practice going over the break. We'll first start with B, and then we'll jump down to A, and then back to B, and back to A. When you jump down to A, make sure you keep your right hand fingers down. This is a tip that they don't often teach you in school, and you may not know this unless you studied with a clarinet teacher. It's not always practical to leave your right hand down on G's and A's, but it will teach you proper hand position. And then the next one, we'll practice going over the break, just G, A, B, C, B, A, G, slowly, and then looping faster. Okay, so you've practiced your low range. You've practiced, what else did you practice? You've practiced your low range. You've practiced going over the break. Now we're going to practice a little etude for you to practice putting all of these together in the context of music. This is from Bayerman Division 2. Now, for the purposes of this video, I did slur all of this. I hope you enjoy practicing it. There are many different articulation combinations you can try, but for our purposes today, I suggest you try slurring it as well. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoy practicing these, and I hope these tips help you get to the next level in your playing. Next week, I'm going to talk about throat tension and how to address that and how to release the throat tension before you play. So be sure to stay tuned. Have a wonderful weekend, a good week next week, and as always, happy practicing.